once again, back once again, back once again, back once again, back once again with a beat. Let the bass kick.
I'm Scott with the Wisdom in All Things podcast, the audio version of what I've posted at wisdominallthings.com. You can check out other episodes and get the free download of 5 steps towards wisdom in all things. It was the 5 top articles readers found to be most interesting, most helpful. You can get that and more at wisdominallthings.com. Today's episode, keeping your mind on things above. It's about seeking what we think. Heaven is not just a destination, but a mindset. Of Colossians 3:2, which says, set our minds on things that are above, not on things that are on the earth. J.B. Lightfoot is an English theologian and Bishop of Durham in the 1800s, states that we must not only seek heaven, we must also think heaven. I often catch myself, as I'm sure you do too, feeling as though my head's on a swivel. There are so many things screaming for my attention, each sounding as though I should stop everything else and go investigate. It feels like being in a scary movie, where verifying every little sound could be a matter of life and death. Is that really just a tree branch scraping against the roof, or is that a giant spider about to break through the ceiling on top of me? It's that kind of, emergency or urgency we feel with everything swirling about us. We've become, in one sense, necessarily aware of the many things going on around us that could potentially get us, but at the same time have become so fixated on what surrounds us that we're not just able to gain or keep the right perspective on them. Finding higher ground is crucial. It gives us the advantage of a broader view, how the different parts make up the whole, and even whether or not something truly matters. Living here in the things below can make it pretty hard to keep our sights on things above. But having the things above perspective is what will help us navigate around and through what is swirling all around us. J.B. Lightfoot's comment helps us understand that to think heaven is like putting on special glasses that allow us to see what we would not otherwise see, seeing things for what they are or are not. William Barclay, he's a Scottish author, radio and television presenter, Church of Scotland minister, and professor at a divinity school, says, the Christian will see things not as they appear to men, but as they appear to God. Those are some special glasses. So gaining the advantage of higher ground is more about evaluating our mind's eye. As we set our minds on things above, we are able to put things below into the right perspective. By setting our minds, as stated in Colossians 3:2, we are directing our minds to a thing, to seek, to strive for. Our gaze or focus is fixed on things above, and our hearts are committed to that perspective. A better way to see this mind-heart combination is in the King James rendering of this verse. It says, set your affection on things above, not on things on the earth. Being heavenly minded is our heart's desire. However, this should in no way be understood as being either or, that we are to set our minds on things above or on things below. It is that we are to view, understand, interpret, respond to things below from a mind and heart fixed on things above. This properly amends the familiar phrase to being so heavenly minded, you are so earthly good. So how do we keep our mind on things above? We do so much earthly good by being heavenly minded. Setting our minds on things above is like being the new hire. Our position, not tainted by the organization's politics or the past, the way that we had always been doing things, brings a much needed redemptive perspective. So how can we keep our minds on things above? First, ask yourself, who's running the show? As much as we'd like to think that we're in charge, reality quickly dismisses any possibility of that being true. Isaiah 46:9b through 11 states this quite clearly. I am God, and there is no other. I am God, and there's none like me. I say, my purpose will stand, and I will do that I please. From the east I summon a bird of prey, from a far-off land a man to fulfill my purpose. What I have said, that I will bring about. What I have planned, that will I do. We do well to remember this and help others see that God is in charge and will accomplish what he pleases. So who's running the show? Second, ask yourself, how does God see things? Merriam-Webster defines perspective as the capacity to view things in their true relations or relative importance. In other words, are we seeing things the way that God sees them? Do we regard those things with the same significance as he does? Keeping our minds on things above keeps us from being distracted by what is meaningless, and then prioritizing those things that are most meaningful. Third, if you want to have and keep a heavenly perspective, we should have a good picture of heaven in mind. For instance, there will one day no longer be a need for the sun or the moon because, as Revelation 21:23 describes, the glory of God gives it light, and its lamp is the Lamb. God will make all things new, all things right. That's where we're headed. It is both the basis for our hope, but also the motivation in bringing to bear a mind set on things above. Lastly, think on these things. In her article, 25 Ways to Set Your Minds on Things Above, Natalie Rigoli points to Paul's exhortation in Philippians 4:8 that teaches us to be very selective with what should occupy our thoughts. A great way to think on things above is to sift them through whatever is true, honest, just, pure, lovely, admirable, virtuous, or worthy of praise. She says if something doesn't fit in any of these categories, we should not allow it into our thought life. So to keep our minds on things above, first ask ourselves, who's running the show? And the answer should be God. Ask yourself, how does he see things? Keep heaven in mind, that picture of heaven. And lastly, think on these things, these very specific, selective things that'll help us keep our mind on things above. I've been reading Randy Alcorn's book, 90 Days of God's Goodness. As you might expect, he reveals the detriment of our earthly-minded view of evil and suffering. It is only through keeping our minds on things above that we can begin to understand that God has a purpose in every moment of every day and the manner in which he chooses to accomplish what he desires. Our handling things below with a mindset on things above are just what the world needs. Keep your head up. There are quite a few more episodes at the website. Stop by wisdominallthings.com for the rest of them and sign up for the email version if you'd like. It's at wisdominallthings.com.